You won't believe what happened in the final hours of Maribel Immac Irungu.
Siko poa sana.
Just hours before her sudden death, she had said something that now has the internet completely shaken.
Nilikunywa niki-expect nimekuwa tu nikitapika.
Because some are now asking, did she see it coming?
Mental health in Kenya is something that we don't really take seriously.
After battling bipolar 1 disorder, after the evictions,
Nilifukuzwa juu ya kukosa rent.
after the viral outbursts that made headlines across the country,
Ruto, try me niambie wa Kenya about your mental condition.
Maribel wasn't in Nairobi this time. She was back in the village, alone, and what she said in her final conversation is sending shockwaves online.
Uko home ushago? Hauko Nairobi?
Hapana.
Nini imekuhapenia ukatoka Nairobi ukaenda ushago?
Nilifukuzwa juu ya kukosa rent.
Umehama kabisa?
But that is not all. Wait until you hear the words she repeated about her childhood and why some believe the signs were there all along.
Nini kinaendelea saizi?
Nikitapika tu natapika.
Uko home peke yako? Parents hawako sahi?
Hapana.
Gaifafa.
Once a corporate professional, then suddenly fired. Once trending for calling herself the mighty prophet.
Sema kuja unipige niko kwangu. I'm in my house, come and get me. Tauna adabu wewe, ana Mombasa. Kwano kalambo ya hanga shetani, modesha ituoyo.
Once live streaming at dawn as neighbors complained. Her life spiraled publicly, raw, unfiltered, impossible to ignore. She exposed people. She confronted family. She spoke about feeling like an outcast in her own home, claiming her mother protected a marriage more than she protected her.
Mom didn't create any environment for you to feel comfortable to speak with her?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then, silence. Now, netizens are replaying her final TikToks, her last messages, her last cries for understanding.
Nini, what are your regrets? Nini imefanya mpaka ufike hapo?
Nimeisha tu imenifikisha hapa. Maisha imekuwa ngumu.
Was it trauma? Was it illness? Or was it a woman who felt and had for far too long?
Don't do it, Kaide. Have you called any one of your parents?
Na sijawapigia simu.
Ni kwa nini basi umeamua kunipigia? I thought you had called your parents.
No, I've called you because you're my friend.
Stay with me, because the final moments of Maribel's story are more heartbreaking and more shocking than anyone expected.
Maribel is no more. May her soul rest in peace. I'm requesting TikTokers at this time to come together to support the family. Okay, whichever way we can support the mom, the sister, the entire family, let us come through for that family.
The bipolar disorder, a severe mental health condition, had systematically dismantled every aspect of her life. She seemingly predicted not just her own death, but the exact circumstances surrounding it. Her journey from corporate professional to viral sensation to tragic statistics is one that reveals the darkest failures of our society. What she said about her own mother.
I'm going through bullying in school, I'm going through bullying at home, and I'm going and I have no one to tell. Because unfortunately, I don't want to blame my mom, but my mom did not protect me. Because most people usually ask me, where was your mom? My mom didn't protect me as per se. And I don't want to blame her or anything. It's because she didn't know any better.
Those words are now being analyzed by thousands online, and what they reveal about her childhood will break your heart. But first, let me take you back to where all of this began. Maribel Immaculate Irungu was not always the controversial figure the internet came to know. She was educated, articulate, and had successfully secured employment in multiple corporate organizations in Nairobi. Those who knew her during this period describe a woman who was professional, punctual, and showed tremendous promise in her career. But beneath the surface, something was beginning to fracture. Maribel began exhibiting symptoms that alarmed her colleagues and supervisors. Her behavior became erratic, unpredictable, and eventually she was terminated from her position. The loss of her employment was not just about losing a paycheck. It was the beginning of a catastrophic domino effect that would eventually claim her life. Without income, without the structure that work provides, and without proper mental health support, Maribel's condition deteriorated rapidly, and instead of receiving help, she found herself spiraling into a public breakdown that will be documented for the world to see. She began posting on social media, making allegations against her former bosses, colleagues, and supervisors, and she accused them of mistreatment, discrimination, and various other offenses. And whether these allegations were rooted in truth or were manifestations of her mental health crisis became a subject of intense debate online. But what is undeniable is this: a woman was crying out for help, but her confrontations with former colleagues were nothing compared to what she was about to unleash on her own family. The mighty prophet was just getting started and no one was safe. Maribel began referring to herself as the mighty prophet, claiming spiritual insight and divine revelation. Her TikTok lives became increasingly intense, filled with proclamations, warnings, and exposés that targeted everyone in her orbit. But it was her treatment of her own family that generated the most controversy and perhaps revealed the deepest wounds. In multiple videos that have been viewed hundreds of thousands of times, Maribel publicly called her biological father a donkey. She used that exact word repeatedly, showing zero reverence to traditional respect afforded to parents in the Kenyan culture. But Maribel did not stop there. She went after her landlord, blasting him online and making allegations about his treatment of her. She called out extended family members, neighbors, and anyone she felt had wronged her as simply out of control, attention-seeking, or fabricating stories. But what she said about her mother's choices will make you question everything, because according to Maribel, there was one person her mother protected above all others, and it was not her own daughter. This revelation changes everything. A child, now a grown woman, battling severe mental illness, publicly declaring that her mother had prioritized maintaining a relationship with her husband over safeguarding her daughter's well-being and emotional safety. This statement has ignited fierce debate online. Some have criticized Maribel for disrespecting her mother publicly, while others have pointed out that this kind of specific accusation often comes from real experience of childhood neglect or even abuse. Whether Maribel's specific accusations were entirely accurate or were partially colored by her mental state, the pain behind them was undeniably real. This was a woman who had carried wounds from childhood into adulthood. But the situation was about to get even worse because Maribel's behavior was about to make her homeless, and what she did every single morning had her neighbors calling the police. It's everything. Every morning, Maribel would begin shouting, preaching, and broadcasting live on TikTok from whatever apartment she was staying in at the time. Neighbors reported being woken up at dawn to the sound of her loud proclamations, spiritual declarations, and sometimes incoherent rants. Complaints poured in. Neighbors confronted her. Landlords warned her. But Maribel, deep in the grip of manic episodes, could not or would not stop. This led to her first eviction, but instead of this being a wake-up call, or an opportunity for the intervention. Maribel simply moved to another apartment and the cycle continued. She was evicted again and again. Each time, she would blast her former landlords online, accusing them of cruelty, discrimination, and harassment. But the reality, as painful as it is to acknowledge, was what Maribel was exhibiting, behavior that made it genuinely impossible for her to coexist in shared housing. By the time of her final eviction, Maribel had burned through whatever savings she had, whatever goodwill remained, and whatever safety net might have existed. She could no longer afford rent in Nairobi, the city that had once represented opportunity and success had become a place where she was unwanted, unable to function, and utterly alone. And so, Maribel returned to the village, back to the very family she had publicly condemned, back to the environment that she had suggested was the source of her deepest pain. And it is there, in that village, that Maribel would make her final recordings, and what she said in those last videos have convinced thousands of people that she knew exactly what was coming. The prophecy was about to fulfill itself. In the days and hours before her death, Maribel posted several videos that have now taken on chilling significance. She talked about how it would happen and how people would react. Viewers who had followed her story began commenting, begging her to seek help, urging her to go to a hospital and pleading with her family to intervene, but those pleas went unanswered. Maribel's final conversations, recorded and shared online, show a woman was exhausted, defeated, and seemingly at peace with what was coming. In the day of her death, Maribel was in the village, far from the medical facilities, far from mental health resources, and surrounded by the very family dynamics. The exact circumstances of her death have not been fully disclosed, but what is known is that she passed away after her prolonged battle with bipolar 1 disorder, a condition that had ravaged her life, destroyed her career, shattered her relationships, and ultimately claimed her life. The news of her death spread rapidly across social media. Many of those who had mocked her, dismissed her, or participated in making her a viral spectacle were now expressing guilt and sorrow, but for Maribel, those expressions of concern came far too late. But perhaps the most important question is not how she died, but how we allowed someone so clearly in crisis to fall through every possible safety net. And the answer to that question should disturb every single one of us. Maribel Imaac Irungu's death is not just a personal tragedy, it is a societal failure of catastrophic proportions. She was just 30 years old. She had dreams, talent, and potential. She also had a severe mental illness that with proper treatment and support could have been managed. Instead, she was alone, broke and broken, in a village that she had tried to escape. Her final prophecy was fulfilled, not because she had mystical powers, but because she had the clarity to see that in the darkest hour, and no one was coming to save her. Rest in peace, Maribel, but the questions you have left behind must be answered. If this story affected you, please share it, not for views, not for likes, but because someone watching might be the Maribel in their own family, and maybe, just maybe, this will inspire someone to reach out before it is too late. Mental health is health. Stigma kills, neglect kills, indifference kills. Let us choose differently. Let us catch up in the next Celebrity Drama Files as we get to know what is happening around the 254.